Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Sams.
Sometimes you forget to hit the record button. It's an honest mistake.
So, Brad, I understand you watched some sport this weekend.
Yes. Shall we recap that there
Actually,
was a golf...
let me see if I can explain it. You can see if I was paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but it took place in the Fort Worth area in Texas, which we agreed was a big place. And actually, that's pretty much all we talked. What was the name of it again? Something
It was the Charles Schwab something or other
Yes.
at the Colonial, which I believe is in
Colonial.
Fort Worth, but we joked that Texas is a big place. It could have been. Then we also joked about how there's a phone call above me, so if you hear herds of
I
buffalo.
started to tell a story about my cat going to the vet. The only important note there was we had to get up early to make this happen, and the animal hurt the little cage we take it in, hit the ground, and she found a place in the house we didn't know existed, which is a crawl space in the cellar basement behind a wall where my father at the time had put in bookshelves or whatever. So there's just a space back there for her to get 15 feet in the dark, sitting there with the little reflective eyes. So we had to call the vet and tell him we weren't going to be able to make it. And then the cat came out because right before this, my wife had given her anti-anxiety medication, and maybe it kicked in, but suddenly the idea of coming out seemed like a good idea to the little genius, and off she went.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So now that we're all caught up.
Yeah. No. Oh man, I looked over it because it's bright red above my head. I was like, why is it not red? Oh no. And then you know.
I've had two events in my life where with a group of people and two different groups of people, I have gone out and done something for some amount of time. And then we get to near the end and someone says, oh crap, I didn't put any film in the camera. And then we actually went and did it again. So one time was on a boat around a lake. We were going, just the four of us. The other one was a bigger group of people. I think it was the very first time I'd ever been in Las Vegas. We walked around a bunch of casinos and stuff. And then my friend Jim was like, crap, I forgot. So he's like, can we do it again? We're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, Microsoft has acknowledged that they're going to fix a USB printer flaw. I don't know if it's a flaw or if it's the printer, but they strike again.
Probably a flaw because it's like multiple printers. I don't know.
Well, printers just kind of suck in general.
Speaking of printers, there's a printer behind me. You can kind of see.
There is. There used to be 2 Surface Go's or something up there.
Yeah, and there will be again, but I'm going to be writing a review of that today. It's an NV Pro 6400, I think is the model they're launching today. Really nice. I got to say, printing, is something I don't really think about a lot. So you kind of forget like how much these things have advanced and how easy they are to use and how they work with mobile and how you can digitally fax if you want, scan and, print from 2 different locations and whatever. They have an ink service, which is kind of amazing and inexpensive that I didn't even realize, but we are already subscribed to. My wife did this a year or so ago because we have an HP printer upstairs. And they're super inexpensive. Like this is the high-end version. It's $150, but there's a version without the second paper tray, which is the block you see on the top. $129,
Yeah. Yeah, the Brother printer we bought, which is already broken, but we already fixed, was about the same price, I think, but we got it on. I don't know.
Think about it. I mean, think about all the devices you've ever bought. This is like the cheapest by far. Like it's crazy how cheap these things are, and they last forever.
That's what we hope. Except there's a flaw, a design flaw with the one that we bought because.
Oh, if you use it with a Mac, they last forever.
But we fixed it.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought you were referring to the Windows 10 bug. Sorry.
Oh no! Like the actual printer broke, and there's a fix on iFixit that like permanently fixes it. Because it's very common, and just Brother refuses to fix it at the factory, but whatever. Now it works great. So
cool.
Basically what happens is there's a mechanism underneath the paper tray that like pushes pressure up, and that breaks, and so you just shove some stuff under there, just like riffraff, and then it fixes it, and it's fine.
So iFixit is not just about breaking stuff.
No, it's actually about fixing.
Oh, that's the name. I thought it was a witty name. I guess it's just descriptive.
They have tutorials and other handy things that will help you fix stuff. It won't fix your marriage, but it will fix your gadgets. That should be there.
That'd be great if they launched a section of the site for that.
That's what they.
Like how to respond to the question, how do I look in this?
Yeah. Or what's for dinner? to
how not to ask that question.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Teams got this is a weird one, but late on Friday, Microsoft announced that Teams custom backgrounds are now available for everybody, and they added scheduled meetings to Teams free. What else were you going to announce on a Friday?
By the way, there's some confusion about this because I heard a bunch of people were saying this was already out, but this means your own custom backgrounds. Like you can import any picture you want. Like they already had a collection of pictures you can put in the background. This is about bringing your own thing in. And I heard from someone on Twitter who was saying that it will accept an animated GIF, but it will not animate it, which of course is the proper behavior. Like, can you imagine like someone in a meeting with an animated background? I mean, it would just be horrifically terrible.
It's like one of the first, well, not one of the first, but the HTML feature, if you wrapped it in scroll, right? You can just have that little, or marquee. I think it's marquee.
Marquee, that sounds right. Yep. And or blink, with another golden oldie.
Just turn your background into a MySpace page. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, so that stuff is out. Apple's event is not this week, so we don't have that to look forward to or talk about.
Yeah, and in case anyone missed it, Microsoft just had Build and everything was free for everybody. And when Apple has WWDC, you get to watch the keynote just like any other year. And to see the rest of it, you have to pay and not pay the full conference price, but you have to be an Apple developer, which costs $100 per year. You'd like to think people would look at what Microsoft did and learn, take the best, make improvements, but
or maybe read the room that that was the wrong button.
Speaking of the room, yes, but Apple.
Yeah, who knows? So I don't know. It's Monday, right? We already didn't record half the episode. We're here, hoping the audio's all right over there.
Yeah, I tried to get into the crawl space behind the thing in the cellar to get the cat, and let's suffice to say, too big to fit that home.
A pro tip for anybody else out there: if you upgrade to iOS 13.5.1, I think that's what just came out, and all your notifications stop working on your watch, because that's very...
For people keeping track at home, this is approximately the 17th update to iOS 13 that Apple has released in September.
So the only way, if you turn your phone off and then you turn it back on and the notifications don't come back on, and you turn your watch off and then you turn your watch off and the notifications don't come back on, because that's the first things I did. You have to turn your watch and your phone off at the same time, so they're both off, and then turn them both back on, and that will hopefully fix it.
Is the phase of the moon important? If you had one leg suspended in the air while you did the reset, would that benefit in any way?
Well, Raphael offered some helpful advice. He said, put it on the other wrist.
That's good.
Just helpful as always. Good. So, anyways, that's for a lot. I bet we get an iOS 14 beta at the end of this month.
Yep, I think so.
Because typically they would have had WWDC by now, and typically they would have had their first beta out. And previous, if I remember correctly,
or a private beta, public.
Yeah, the first public beta is usually early July, if I remember correctly, something like that.
I think they want to put iOS 13 behind them as quickly as possible, so I can see that. Apple, and it just works.
Yeah, that's a tagline no company should ever use, because even after you move past it, you can't. There's no.
It's always going to be used against you. The clip of you saying that,
Mm-hmm. Yep. And just like the clip of us saying that this didn't work or whatever, I don't know, we're gone.
Did you record it this time, Brad?
We'll find out.